Hello fellow fraggers, my name is Frag himself, and today I'm going to show you which cards to pick and how to play them to beat Takeshi players. So I wanted to do this video because Takeshi is a very easy and accessible card that a lot of people play with and will play with in the following season. And unlike Stella, I think he's got a lot of effective counters to him, even against good Takeshi players. So now that said, let's get into it. To know how to beat Takeshi, you need to understand his weaknesses and strength. First of all, he's very tanky, so it's gonna take a lot of damage to kill him. He's also pretty good in mid ranges, and anytime he's in his ult, he is a force to be reckoned with. I think he's the best card in the game in melee combat, when he's in his ult. He does have weaknesses though. He is not fast when he's not in his ult. No, his main fire is not the best, he doesn't have that much damage with it. He has a big hitbox, so that makes him easy to hit, and he's not great in long ranges or short ranges when he's not in his ult form. So now that that's done, we can jump into the 5 cards that I chose that can counter him very well. So in 5th place we have Rip and Fin. Rip and Fin has one of the best ults in the game, and it's very good to get cards off of you. You're usually able to kick a lot of cards off the map, so you don't have to damage them that much, so that makes it very good against tanks. Because tanks, it's gonna take a long time for you to get rid of them if you want to just hit them with a lot of damage. But if you just kick them off the map, it's gonna take 2 seconds. So I think that makes it very good against Takeshi, because he's a tank, obviously. Now, how do you get rid of a Takeshi with Rip and Fin? Step 1 is you need to make sure you know where the Takeshi player is 24/7. This rule applies to everyone on this list, but it's especially important against Takeshi because if he jumps on you and you don't expect it, you will die. Step 2 is you need to stay at a range where you can hit Takeshi. But you don't want to be too close either. You might want to use your main fire knockback to keep the enemies at a distance. Now if you keep them far away, at some point they're gonna have to use their ult, because you can usually use your speed to your advantage with Rip and Fin and sort of kick them around. Step 3, you fire at them as much as you can and you try to get as much damage as you can on them. You can use your speed to sort of maneuver around the Takeshi. And step 4, you do not use your ult. In this phase, it's important that you keep your ult on you. And this is where step 5 come in. When they get impatient or they try to approach with their ultimate ability, then is the time to use your wave and just kick them off as far as you can. It's gonna cancel the punch and you might be able to kick them off the map. Now that's the important step. If you mess up, you're probably gonna die, but this is why you absolutely need to keep your wave before they get to you, because if you use it before, they might come back and punch you to death. Overall, I think with Rip and Fin it's pretty risky and I'm not the best at him, so that's why he's 5th in this list. But he does have a good matchup against Takeshi, I think. At number 4 we have Stella. So I know what you're saying. Didn't you say that Takeshi counters Stella? Well, the reason why I said that is because usually Stella players don't really know how to play against Takeshis very well. But I will explain that to you. So she's a very flexible card and she's really strong. I still think she's the best in the game. Not the best against Takeshi, but she is very good. So step 1 is to keep your ult with you as much as you can, like Rip and Fin. So I see a lot of players try to rush Takeshis with their ult, but then the Takeshi player uses their ult and they just die. So that's not what you want to do. So you want to use your main fire to annoy the Takeshi player, and you try to run around, make sure they don't hit you, and you use your homing effect to your advantage. At one point they're gonna get annoyed and they're gonna try to rush you with the ult. And now is the most important part. You want to use your ult to run away. Maybe you want to attack another card with your star. Just make sure you land at the right position, and then once your ult is over, the Takeshi should be out of his punching mode as well, and then you will be able to, I think, get rid of them with your main fire. Now I should say before finishing Stella that if you know they just use their super, you can try to get rid of them with your own ult and try to rush them in the close range. So in 3rd place we have Crystal. I think Crystal has got a very similar main fire to Takeshi, but she is faster and smaller, so you can usually damage them at long ranges. Now if they use their super on you, you can dodge it with your ult and then come back crashing down on them, and after that you should be able to get rid of them. Once you crash down on them, the punching is gonna stop and you will be able to sort of deal with them more easily. And if you see them close to dying, you can also rush them with your ult. Say they're across the map and they have like 100 HP, you can go and attack them, because once you crash on them they're gonna die and they're not gonna be able to use their ult after to attack you. Now in number 2 we have Duncan. Duncan has a much better main fire than Takeshi, especially with his frag powers, so you can usually out damage them in any range without any problems. So they will need to use their ult if they want to get rid of you, because you're gonna be able to get rid of them with your main fire more easily. I think the best way to deal with that is usually gonna be to run away with Duncan, but if they get close to you, you're gonna need to use your ult to cancel the punches. So that might be something you want to practice, because it's not the easiest thing. You want to get really precise with it. If you mess up, you will die. Same with Ripinfin. But if you're able to hit your ult, the Takeshi player is most likely gonna die, because you're gonna be able to finish them up in the close range with your main fire. And now in number 1 we have Arken. Honestly, I think this guy has the best main fire in the game. But that aside, he has solid damage, a headshot multiplier, and a lot of range, which is very useful against Takeshi. So step 1 with Arken is you're gonna want to outrange them. And that's the most important thing. If you can hit him from far away, it's gonna get a lot easier for you. Arken is still pretty good in the close range. So if they get too close to you and they use their ult, you can use yours and go in the air to dodge the punches. Now when you're in the air, you're gonna have a choice. Maybe you can attack the punching Takeshi or other cards. The thing is, if you want to attack the Takeshi, you're gonna chip away at his health buff from his ult, and it's gonna go away anyway after like 6 seconds. So maybe you're gonna want to attack the other cards in the map, but if you have to attack the Takeshi, that's fine, as long as you're in a safe distance to him. And when you come back, you should be able to get rid of them, because 1 or 2 shots with Arken is gonna cut it, and you will have gotten rid of the Takeshi. And finally, if you want to pick good AIs to counter Takeshis, I could suggest you to get Bubbler or Queen Unicorn, which are both pretty good, I think. But I think you should be able to play any top tier AIs and get away with it against Takeshi players. So with this, you should be able to deal with Takeshi players. Keep in mind, this is totally my opinion, and you may disagree with me on that. There are also some cards on this list that I am better than others. For example, I'm much better at Arken than Ripinfin, so if you're a better Ripinfin players, you might want to use him. And there may be also other cards that I just didn't think of to counter Takeshi. So if you have any advice, disagreements, or questions, drop them in the comments. Go look at the comments if you want to find other Takeshi counters. So with that said, I hope you guys liked the video, and I will see you around.